Welcome to episode 41.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Who Did That Voice, where we take an in-depth look at voiceovers.
It's a new year, and if you're like me, you are already thinking about warmer weather and taking that getaway to that tropical or exotic destination. Maybe you plan to travel to Walt Disney World or Universal Studios. No matter what kind of trip you plan, 3D Travel Company is the company for you. Just visit 3dtravelcompany.com and let them know that Trenton sent you from Who Did That Voice. Or you can book on www.whodidthatvoice.co and click the Book Now button. For a limited time, Who Did That Voice listeners can receive a Disney gift card for qualifying Disney and Universal trips booked and traveled by the end of 2017. Book today and travel away.
Welcome to Who Did That Voice, the show where we take an in-depth look at voiceover. And now, here's your host, Trenton Larkin.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. All February long of 2017, we will be covering the original DiC-released Sailor Moon animated series from the 1990s, and today's special guest is Sailor Mars.
The fires of love are burning. The fire of justice is burning. I won't let anyone destroy a person's, no, even a kitty's chance at romance. I will punish you on behalf of the planet Mars. We met at my temple, the one on Cherry Hill.
Yeah? So you must be Ray, right? Serena says you're great at martial arts.
Yeah, my grandpa's taught me a lot. It's a really great way to build up your confidence. Sailor Moon, even though you're a crybaby and an irresponsible whiner and...
Go away, Mars. I don't need this now. I know you hate me. You've always hated me.
That's not true.
It isn't?
Gotta say, never thought you were much of a leader. But I know I was wrong. Especially after seeing the way you handled that crystal.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Who Did That Voice? Today on the show we have Katie Griffin joining us. Katie, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Hi everybody.
Well, today we always like to start out, Katie, with just getting a brief background on who our guest is and how did you also get into the voiceover industry?
Well, I've been an actor for a billion gazillion years, and I've been when I got started, I was doing mostly on-camera stuff, and then just as a fluke, well, it wasn't really a fluke. My boyfriend at the time was Reno Romano, who was the original Tuxedo Mask.
Wow.
What just happened? Yeah, so we're pretty good friends, and he was doing a ton of voiceover stuff, and I didn't even know what that was. I just thought, oh yeah, that's great, whatever. And then he said, well, there's this series, and you have to audition for it. And I guess now I've learned that tons and hundreds and thousands of girls in Toronto, because that's where everything was recorded, auditioned for Sailor Moon. So my very first introduction into the voiceover world was Sailor Mars. So I auditioned, and the rest is history. And then, yeah, Sailor Mars was my very first introduction into to the world of voiceover, and that's pretty much what I do. I do some on-camera stuff now, but my bread and butter is animation and silly voices and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, Sailor Moon was actually my very favorite anime. It was my very first anime, and I've always had a really dear place. It's always had a really dear place in my heart. So that is fantastic. And what was it like working with those other ladies on that show for Sailor Moon and playing Sailor Mars?
The whole experience for me was incredible. And I say that because I was a singer as well. So getting behind the mic and doing all that stuff, we mostly recorded separately. Every once in a while, Susan Roman, who played Jupiter, we would record together. And I've known Susan for forever. And so, I don't know, I had a great experience overall. It was chaos. We would get into this booth, Japanese anime, I'm just turning that ringer off. That's not professional. Oh, that's you texting me. That's hilarious.
That's so weird that it just came
getting
through.
There now. Isn't that nice? Toronto time. anyway, I'm super, and Linda Ballantyne, who plays Sailor Moon, we're like besties. We're best friends. Her kids babysit my kids. We hang out. We go to ball games together. And so at the time when I was younger doing this, it was a lot of fun. I loved doing it. I loved Mars. Everything about Ray was me. So it would be an exciting day on, I want to say on set, but just in the studio.
Yeah.
But we recorded separately. So now we're really close and everything. But at the time it was just me.
Well, and I think because of it being an anime, y'all did that separate recording more so because it is harder to do the group recording when you're voicing over ADRing over the tracks. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's and just to put it in perspective, we were using something called the Rhythma Band, which is archaic now. It's karaoke, but way harder because someone has handwritten all the lines in English. We would watch a bit of the Japanese, completely different because they have a lot more words and they talk a lot faster. And I don't think I really sounded like the Japanese Mars, but I don't know. It was just chaos. So then we'd watch this band called the Rhythma Band, and it would just scroll across, sort of like karaoke, except with crazy words. And as soon as it hit, you'd have to speak. So if we had more people in the booth, theirs would be below it. It would be color coded. It was a lot to do. So that's why they kept us pretty separate. Like I said, Sailor Jupiter and I would do some scenes together and stuff. But yeah, it was crazy.
Well, that is crazy. Yeah. But it's fantastic to hear that because, there's so many different perspectives from all different types of shows. So I appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Sure.
Well, Katie, I know you also played on Totally Spies as Alex, and I believe you shared that role with Katie Lee. How did that transition happen where both actresses played that role, and what was the story behind all that?
Well, the story was, I think, to save money, the production, so Marathon Productions, who they did Totally Spies, they're actually from France.
Okay.
So I think they wanted to maybe save a little bit of money or I don't know, logistically wanted to come up to Canada. So they wanted to go to Toronto, so they needed to have some Canadian talent. So initially when I auditioned for it, I auditioned for all 3 roles.
Okay.
And some inside scoop. I think Clover was pretty good to go, and then it was Jennifer Hale. So they're gonna keep Jennifer Hale, who was so unfortunately just for Katie. I think it was just logistically they needed a Canadian voice because she was fantastic, and I think we sound completely different as Alex. But I just got super lucky. I auditioned for all 3, and then on the day of. I booked Alex and we went in and it was kind of tricky. I don't think I've ever replaced anybody on a series before, but yeah, so that whole thing was just luck of the draw for me, I guess. But Katie was amazing. She was totally awesome as Alex.
Well, Katie Lee was actually my very first guest on the show. So she and I have become good friends over the years. And so just with everything working out, she was my first. But when I was looking up your guys' background or your background on Totally Spies, I noticed, I was like, hey, these ladies shared that role and had always kind of inquired about that. But you guys were kind of like the Charlie's Angels. There were 3 girls, they're spies, and it's a really action-packed series. So if you haven't seen it, you guys totally need to check out Totally Spies.
You totally do. That's funny. Yeah, I saw what you did there.
Yeah, I totally didn't even plan that either. And there I go again. Okay. So, in 2004, you played Laugh-A-Lot Bear in Care Bear's Journey to Joke-A-Lot. Yeah, Joke-A-Lot. What was that like for you getting to play a Care Bear on such an iconic series?
Well, I grew up watching Care Bear, so I was giddy. And also I knew that Susan Roman, who's Sailor Jupiter, was cheer or champ. I don't even know which one. I don't know. I should know that. She's going to be so mad at me. But anyway, so she was already, it was exciting. But Laugh-A-Lot Bear was just silly. It was just a lot of giggling. So it was a really easy role for me. I think it was just the bragging rights of being part of Care Bears because it was a movie. And then I thought, oh my God, Laugh-A-Lot Bear's going to be everywhere. And then we didn't continue with any of that. So Laugh-A-Lot Bear giggled a lot, but I think she just didn't Actually, I have a funny story about that. I'll try and be quick because I know, it's got to move along and stuff, but I start rambling.
Yeah, no.
My sister and I, we went to Dave & Buster's. I don't know if you have Dave & Buster's.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we went there for a bachelorette party, and we went into the game section to, you get all your stuff and you want to go and buy your prizes. And we walked in, and I got so excited. I went, oh, Becky, look, I'm there. It's all me. It's Laugh-A-Lot Bear. And there was this big bin of orange Laugh-A-Lot Bears. And Becky, my sister, went, that's because nobody wanted Laugh-A-Lot Bear. My Laugh-A-Lot Bear is just shut me down. So she's not wrong, because if there were other Care Bears in there, they were no longer there. So there was just Laugh-A-Lot Bear. And you know what? To be fair, Laugh-A-Lot Bear didn't have a huge backstory and wasn't in the original series. So of course everyone's going to go for Cheer or You know who's texting me right now? Sailor Moon. Valentine is texting me right now.
Yeah,
if she called, I would have answered it, and then she could have been on too.
Yeah, I totally had messaged her as well about the same time I did you and said, hey, will you be on my show? And you girls both messaged me back. So, but yeah, looking forward to that too. But, okay, let's see here. Well, how did you become involved with the Beyblade franchise? My brothers absolutely love that show, and they got me into it because it is pretty action-packed. And I know you played in both the TV show and a movie, I believe.
I did, and Beyblade was it was the same deal, I think. Maybe because my background, I had done some dubbing before. It was just an audition. It was nothing special. No one said Katie Griffin has to be on this show. It's just that we got the luck of the draw. It was recorded here in Canada, and I auditioned and got on the show. So it was, it's always fun for me because I started dubbing. So, money's not as good. Not even close, really. Not even, but it's part of who I am. And this is what got me started. So, over a couple of drinks with Sailor Moon, we'd sit there and say, yeah, I know, but because right now I'm working on, just to digress, I'm working on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. We're doing the series, and I'm playing Sam Sparks.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's pretty fun. So that's kind of a big deal for me and really exciting, and it's original animation, so it's a lot more I can play, and then they draw me later. So, you sit there and you say, oh, yeah, dubbing. Oh, it's so hard. But the reality is we'd all do it again. The minute our agent said, okay, it's just a dubbing show. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's fantastic. And thanks for giving us that insight into, you said Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the TV show.
Yep, that's right. So they're doing, we're already doing season 2, and season 1 hasn't aired. So I think it's airing here in Canada in January. So I'm going to guess if it's airing here, it's going to be airing in the States as well, because everybody's down in Los Angeles that are.
Yeah. Do you think we'll be seeing it on Netflix or?
That's a very good question. Somebody asked that, and I have another show on Netflix. Yeah. Anyway, I'll do all that later. But yeah, I don't know. I know it's DHX and Sony, so it could be. So I guess it's Cartoon Network in the States, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it might be there, or yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'll look forward to seeing that. That'll be fantastic to see. Now that we've conversed, it makes it all that much more fantastic when I watch it. Well, Katie, one of the other things I always like to ask my guests is if somebody was to ask you what kind of advice you would give them if they were interested in becoming a voiceover actor, what would you tell them, especially if they are a Sailor Moon fan and especially a Sailor Mars fan?
I get asked this a lot because I have people coming up to me all the time saying, oh, I have a great voice, and my mom says I should be doing voiceover because of this voice. And the reality of this industry, in my opinion, is that it's harder to crack than the music industry. So that's just to put it in perspective, because I believe, for me, my success is because I'm an actor before I'm anything else, and there's really nothing interesting about my voice. It's just that I'm an actor, so I can play a part. And for me, for animation especially, if you're going to rely on your voice, it's probably not going to work out for you. And I really honestly believe that if you are an actor and this is something you want to do, you take your classes, you get yourself a demo reel. There's a place you can check out. It's voicebank.net. And then you can listen to everybody's voiceover demos. I think I'm on there too. I think there's hundreds and thousands from the States and Canada, and And that's what you need to sort out, and then you shop it around to an agent, and then so I know for a fact here in Canada it's super tricky, and I'm gonna guess in the States it's even more tricky. So if you really want to do it, don't rely on just your voice. If you are an actor or you really want to do this, understand you're gonna have to work for it big time there. That's really discouraging. That was the worst.
No, but it's giving people the hard facts and the truth to tell them it's not all rainbows and cupcakes, and it's not going to be just super easy to get the job. But people have to know if they really want it, they got to work for it. And if it's really their passion, they'll work for it no matter what it takes.
Yeah. And listen to the sound of your last one. Just listen to the sound of your voice. So record yourself and then play it back so you can hear how you sound, because when you put headphones on, it all bets are off. You think you sounded, like, in my opinion, I sound so awesome. And then when I hear myself, I think, you sound 12. That's weird, because you don't sound older, which I always think.
But here's the great thing. Because of the way your voice sounds, you can come back and play Sailor Mars any day and pick right up where you left off.
Exactly.
So as an actor, that is key, because if you're able to sound like you did back however many years ago, it's fantastic, because you can come back and reprise roles and they don't have to go, hey, we need to recast this character.
Yeah, no, it's true. Although I will say, like, I mean, from the Sailor Mars days, the call-outs, because you'd be Mars Fire Ignite, and you're just screaming your head off. And even with Totally Spies, as I get older, I have to really watch, I have to drink tons more water. And, when I was 20, it wouldn't matter if I went out late at night and whatever. Now I'm really, really careful with my voice, which, I don't know. I think that's an age thing.
Well, you just got to make sure you take care of yourself, because your voice is your moneymaker. It's your career maker.
Totally.
So one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about is if you have any other up and coming current projects. I know you mentioned the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but do you have anything else in the works or coming up that you can tell us about?
I do. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, but Inspector Gadget CGI, that's on. Yeah,
it is on there. Yeah.
I play Kayla in that series, so that's going on right now.
Fantastic.
I'm in for little kids a series called Wish and Poof. So I play mom in that. And then there's another one. Cirque du Soleil is doing one, and this will be on Netflix as well. It's called Luna Petunia, and I play BB Bubbles. And then what else am I doing? Yeah, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Oh, and Mysticons. Mysticons is this really cool, I don't know how to describe it because it's not dubbing. It's original animation, but it's kind of, I don't know.
Kind of has that Japan feel, the anime feel.
It does. I don't know. I've only seen drawings, so I have no idea, but it feels very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, and I'm in a commercial. I don't think you guys get it in the States. Do you ever watch Stranger Things?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things. It is on Netflix, though. So if it's just a commercial, I don't know if we would have it, but if it's on the show, we would probably.
I'm in a commercial right now for BMO, which is a bank in Canada, but you have all kinds of bank machines down in the States with one of the kids from Stranger Things, the kid with no teeth, Gaten. So, yeah. I don't know, but if you don't see it down there, it doesn't matter.
Well, if we don't see it down here, we have YouTube, so that's wonderful.
That's right, so look it up.
Well, do you have a website or a way in which people can reach out to you, Katie? Because I know there's going to be a lot of fans that will hear this who are Sailor Scout fans, and they will probably be flipping out crazy, like in their minds, like, oh my gosh. But anyway,
that's nice. That's fun. I have two sons, two boys. They don't care what I do.
Well,
here, I brought this home from someone from a Comic-Con gave me this. What?
A Pops Sailor Mars. Wow.
That's right. And so I proudly display it. I'm in my kitchen right now. It's just so my boys can see, no, I did something really awesome.
Yeah, one day they'll come to realize and be like, wow, Mom, that is so amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, there will be people that will hear this show. I have a lot of fans that are fans of anime and animation in general, and of course, voiceover as a whole. The whole show is not just to talk about animation and voiceover, but just voiceover as a whole, and teach people that there are so many other things that you can do with your voice. What are there other things that you've done in the voiceover world besides animation? I know you've kind of mentioned a commercial, but was that a voiceover thing or?
Yeah, no, that's what I do. I was up here in Canada. I was the voice of Special K for a long time, so I do a ton of radio commercials and television commercials for the voice. That's what I do. So, or, narrations for various companies for certain things. So, oops, ow. But yeah, no, that is what I do up here in Canada. Is that what your question was? I don't know. I got sidetracked because I smashed my hand.
No, yeah, that's what I was asking. Just other voiceover stuff that you've done besides animation, because I want people to know that yes, animation is a key factor and something that we deal with a lot on this show, but that, there's so many other avenues for them to look at if they are truly wanting to be an actor and, make a good career for themselves, that they need to pursue all avenues potentially, or at least a good chunk of them, not just think, oh, animation's the only thing I can do if I'm a voiceover actor.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's exactly what you have to do. Cover your bases.
Yeah. Well, did I ask, no, do you have a website or a way in which people can reach you?
That's what you're asking. I don't have an actual website, but
Okay.
I'm on Twitter at Kiss Me Chaos. And then I'm on Instagram, Kiss Me Chaos. I did an album a long time ago because I'm a singer. So Kiss Me Chaos is easier than, Katie Griffin number, 11, because 11 is my lucky number, is used. So just to make it fast so that they don't say there's 1,000 Katie Griffins, because there probably are. I just went Kiss Me Chaos because it's easy and no one else is Kiss Me Chaos. So yeah, at Twitter and then Instagram and Facebook. Well, Facebook, I'm Katie Griffin, but then you can see my picture, and I've got Sailor Mars on the little corner. So
Very cool. Very cool, Katie. Well, I have 2 questions for you, and we'll finish up this interview. The first question of the 2 is, what is your favorite cartoon character from growing up and why?
that's a good question. Watched a lot of the Flintstones growing up. I don't know. Do I have a favorite? You know what? I don't have a favorite, and I could just say things that are my favorites, but I used to watch a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
But I don't have favorites. I just like animation. So,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
no, but I should have. That's a good question. And now I feel like I failed. That was a failed question, but
Honestly, if somebody asked me that question, I wouldn't know how to answer it either, because I like so many different characters from so many different shows. And, so yeah, I know what you mean. I'm a multitude liker as well of animation.
and I go through phases of things. I actually really like because my kids watch a lot of Phineas and Ferb, and I listen to a lot of I really like that show. Or I like shows where I gravitate toward the voices. So I think, oh yeah, no, that's a really good. I want to just keep listening. Ear candy.
Yeah, ear candy.
And anything, yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Well, Katie, my last question for you today is, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Oh, that's a good question too. I'm really, really proud of Cloudy with the chance of me. I have to say, nothing will ever compare to Sailor Moon. And I'm going to say that in all honesty, because we just have such a huge fan base. We've gone all around the world, including Malta and Australia. And there's always the multitudes of Sailor Moon fans. And they're always so nice, and so nice is such a mediocre word, but they're just loving and giving, and Sailor Moon meant so much to them, and it's a huge series for them. So it's just special, and that will never happen again. And even though right now I'm so proud of Cloudy, I'm having such a good time. I had a good time on Brace Face too. I was on Brace Face with Alicia Silverstone 100 years ago. That was evil, but I don't know that Cloudy won't be, I don't think it'll be a legacy. I'm just having such a good time on the show. I really think that Sailor Moon has become such a big part of my life this last 5 years. And my best friend is Linda Valentine. Like, we've become really, really close friends. And I don't know. I just don't see anything else coming along. I don't want to do that because I still feel like I've got a career ahead of me still. And so I want big things to happen just because I'm hopeful. But I don't know that anything will come close to what Sailor Moon is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Well, I know it's been a special show for me, and I know I've talked to a lot of guys that like anime and stuff too, and sometimes they'll laugh at me when I tell them Sailor Moon's my favorite, but I don't care. I will shout it out. In fact, I'm doing so right now on my podcast and telling the world I love Sailor Moon.
Yeah, woo!
Well, it's such a fantastic story. You know, it was mythical and magical, and the girls transformed and had their powers and their weapons, and it was just fantastic to see as a kid. And growing up, I've always been into shows like that, and the Japanese really know how to bring it. And you guys did an amazing job with your voices. And you know, you say your voice isn't very special, but you have to consider it's become memorable and legacy lasting because of the way people treat you and feel about it and the way that it's impacted their lives. You may not think your voice is very special, but you have to realize when people hear your voice, it's an iconic thing that they will remember forever.
That's nice. I'm gonna start. Why are you making me cry? That's crazy. Such a meatball head. Believe that. No, but that's really a nice thing to say. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, you're absolutely welcome, Katie. And I know that is not just coming from me. That resonates from lots, thousands, probably millions of fans who feel the exact same way, except for I'm able to voice it for all of them. So
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
See, and this is what you're doing right now. This is what happens. We go to panels and people just give us all kinds of love, and it's really hard, and nothing can compete with that. You know, really, it can't. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Katie, it has been an absolute pleasure and honor having you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you. It was such an honor meeting you, and this was really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Katie, it has been an absolute honor and pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. Would you just give us a closeout today as Sailor Mars?
Absolutely. You are listening to Who Did That Voice? My name is Katie Griffin, and I played Sailor Mars. Mars, fire, ignite!
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Katie Griffin, the voice of Sailor Mars. And if you did, please stop on by my Contact Me page at www.whodidthatvoice.co. I'd love to hear from you. You know, a question you might ask yourself is, where can I listen to Who Did That Voice? That's an excellent question. You can hear us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, and our website at www.whodidthatvoice.co. Click the Episodes tab and listen away. Well, everyone, that's all the time we have for this episode. Join us this Friday for our next special guest, Linda Ballantyne, the voice of Sailor Moon. You won't want to miss this episode. Hey, do you ask yourself who did that voice? Well, if you do, go to our website, www.whodidthatvoice.co, and click on the Episodes tab. Choose an actor, pick their name, and see pictures from the different characters they've voiced in their career.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time for more discoveries on Who Did That Voice.